Hello, 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 and welcome to episode 11 of 40 Something Podcast. I'm Trevor Shafer, and joining me in the driver's seat this week, if you're watching the video version, Jerry Mullen.
Oh, took me a couple minutes to get this. A couple seconds, minutes, yeah, to get that together. Wow. Hold on.
If you're not watching the video version, Jerry and I are driving Optimus Prime this week. G1, not Michael Bay bullshit, by the way.
Yeah, none of that Michael Bay crap. God, did you see the last one?
No, I have not watched. Okay. Here's the funny thing. Everyone said before the last one that Age of Extinction was the worst one, and that was the one I like the best.
I think I liked the first one, and then they generally went downhill. The last one, which was
last night,
the last night or whatever.
Yeah.
Most of the film, Optimus Prime's the enemy.
I know that, but I just haven't seen it yet.
Optimus Prime is the enemy. He's like the best good guy of all good guys, you know? He can give Superman a run for his money in the goody-goody department.
But, to be fair, that is precedent, because in the original G1 cartoon, I think it was season 4...
Wow, you're just upgrading your nerd card.
Yeah, they
shit.
did bring him back, and he was evil.
Yeah.
So
that was after he died, though, right?
Yeah, that was after he died, and then he came back last time, which was like the very end of the series, The Return of Optimus Prime. That's when they had the plague, and he had to come, and they finally emptied out the Matrix, like some little boy with a set of blue balls, and just fixed the world.
Yeah, you know what though? It's still the most crippling scene for your childhood to see Optimus Prime fade out. Oh,
absolutely. Absolutely.
Although my favorite scene still in that film, besides Dare to Be Stupid, that's a really great part of that film.
Well, that's not a scene. That's a song. You're talking about when they're on the junk planet.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but that scene is how I related to it. Is where Galvatron comes back and completely annihilates Starscream in one shot.
Yeah.
That's just you see him crumble to dust. I'm like, even as an adult now, I go, what a dick, you know?
Just that line. Megatron, is that you? Here's a hint. Just obliterates him.
Yeah. Then he steps on the crown.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why we had that anyway. It's a very human thing, but.
And then he goes, anyone else want to try to fill his shoes?
Yeah.
Which is fun.
Surprised.
Sorry.
I'm always surprised in that shit, man. I'm gonna lose. Soundwave let him throw him out the door.
Yes.
Soundwave was so
loyal
to Megatron. I'm surprised he let that happen.
So.
But there we go. We got some 80s references in already. This is a good show so far. So.
Absolutely.
So, Comic-Con's going on.
It is. I actually watched 2 of the trailers right before the show that you mentioned. So I watched Aquaman and Shazam.
Okay, I want to start with Shazam.
Okay,
Shazam? Go ahead. Let me hear your opinion on it, because I'm going to tell you mine.
Okay, I think it looks good. If you don't know the history of Shazam, I'm not going to go into it, wiki it. Basically, it's a kid who gets superpowers, who turns into a superhero. The vibe I got from the trailer reminds me of the 80s movies that we grew up with.
Oh, yeah.
That, not quite like a Goonies or something like that, but more kind of a Last Starfighter. Like, you get to fulfill a dream. I want to be a superhero, and boom, you're a superhero even though you're still a kid. It's like the whole secret identity thing that, especially if you have, at the trailer, at the end there where they're at the mini-mart.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, you're bulletproof. He just looks at the bad guy, smiles, and goes, and you're dead.
Then the next scene is him going out the window.
Yeah, and he comes out with a 12-pack of soda and Fritos going, sorry about your window, but, you didn't get robbed.
Yeah. My problem with that trailer is up until he switches to Shazam, I had it. I was like, yes, this movie's great so far.
Yeah.
It was like Billy Batson, and he was picked on, an orphan, and all this other shit. I was like, oh, I'm behind this. And then he gets on the train, and immediately knowing what happened to with Shazam.
Yeah.
It's Captain Marvel actually, but whatever. Immediately knowing what happened, I said, he's about to change into Shazam here. Here it comes, into Captain Marvel. Are you texting me?
No, I'm texting my wife. I'm sorry. She's texting me from the next door. I'm absolutely listening to you, even though I'm not looking at you.
I'm sorry. I was about to grab my phone to see if I was doing something.
No.
And then he changes it to Shazam. First off, this guy playing Shazam, he might be the best looking goody two shoe motherfucker I've ever seen.
And it's supposed to be.
I know that, but it gets like, I guess you got to do this as an origin story of the character, where he has that corny moment where he's trying to figure out his powers. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like when he goes to the back window of his buddy's house and says, "Don't scream," he puts it on the window. You know what I mean? And the kid screams anyway, of course, because it's like a goofy adult. But I don't know. At that point, beyond, I said, "Man, this thing looks cheap." I don't know why.
And it's amazing because you and I are totally different on that. In the beginning, when they're showing the kid and he's going to the foster home, I'm like, oh, Jesus, this is going to be another one of those movies where you're going to just hear about this poor kid and you're going to see at the very end, like the third act, then you're going to see Shazam. And then when they brought that right in, I'm like, holy shit, this is going to be a movie about Shazam, not this long, drawn-out origin story.
Yeah.
At least I'm hoping that way.
Yeah, I think you're going to get Shazam at least a third of the way in.
That's what I'm hoping, yeah, after the first act.
Find out what happened to him up until that point, and he's going to get adopted or taken into an extra home or whatever it is, you know, the home is, whatever. And then it's going to be like, bam, here's Shazam.
Yeah.
Or here's Captain Marvel. I keep calling it that, but...
Captain Marvel's a different one, and that's coming out next year.
That's who that is. That's Captain Marvel. The superhero persona is Captain Marvel.
Okay.
But Shazam was the old guy.
Yeah.
He met. That's the. It's tough to explain. Like Shazam actually stands for something. It's an acronym for. I believe it's an acronym for something. Yeah, you know what? Fucking A, I gotta look that up right now. Okay.
What the hell was that? Are you watching
My
porn
wife's
again?
text message. So, let me tell you the phone story in a minute.
But here's the thing, okay? I'm actually going to be serious, and I am going to be ignorant. Captain Marvel is a Marvel movie that's coming out with.
Yes, there are two Captain Marvels.
With Brie Larson. Okay, I was just curious about that, like, because that's what I've been all hearing about. That's why I'm like, when you said it was Captain Marvel, I'm like, wait a minute.
Captain Marvel. Can you see this?
Yes, that's
Captain Marvel. So
that's the classic Alex Ross Shazam photo.
Yeah.
Shazam, or painting, not photo.
Shazam gets his powers from Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, Achilles, and Mercury. So it's an acronym for those famous.
Okay.
That's what it is. And he has like the strength of Hercules and all this, and that's how that works. So I really like that they're making this movie because this is like a far-fetched fucking character. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, a lot of them are crazy, but this one's like a little more. He's a human being
and
that became a god. You know.
And dare I say, this will be the first lighthearted DC movie.
Yeah. Sure, you're not from the DC universe. God, that's a great line.
I can't wait. Do you see that it's coming out uncut with extra footage, Deadpool 2?
Yes.
I'm like, oh, I want to see that.
I can't fucking wait. So I don't know. I don't have super high hopes. I do and I don't have super high hopes for Shazam. I want it to be good because I really like the character.
Mm-hmm.
But the trailer, it's not selling me yet.
Okay.
Give me another trailer. Give me another trailer yet. So what's the other one you watched?
I watched Aquaman.
Okay, Aquaman was fucking awesome.
That looks badass.
Yes, it does.
I was sold on Aquaman. I mean, the beginning of the trailer, you're hearing his story. But, man, when he just pummels himself right through the middle of that submarine, and just turns around and goes, permission to come aboard? I'm like, I'm sold. I got it right there. Well,
take my money now.
Yep. And it was really cool, the scene before that in the aquarium.
Oh, when he was younger?
When he was younger, and everyone just backs up, and all the fish are just staring everybody down. But yeah, when he said that, permission to come aboard, I'm like, okay, I'm sold. I'll watch this.
I said this to a post on Facebook. I think it's in the one group that we're both in. I said, it's finally time for this character not to be crappy.
Yes, yes.
He's been given a shitty run for a pretty long time. Even though, really, you have to think, like, in terms of powerful characters, he's really powerful. Not like godlike Superman power.
But his...
Like Wonder Woman is, but...
I mean, yes, I will agree with you that. I mean, he's master of the oceans, which covers 3/4 of the earth, but he's useless. Like that scene where they jump out of the plane and they go into the desert, I'm like, the hell's he gonna do in the desert? I mean...
I hope they don't go into... if you watch Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, of course I believe you have.
Actually, I haven't.
You never watched Justice League Unlimited?
No.
Wow. I got to take a shit.
Oh, jeez. Jack. My God. My son just hit me with a poop emoji pillow. My God.
Shit in the face. Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, they went kind of into his origin a little bit. Really much. You really saw him as an adult in those shows. They're on Netflix, Trev, if you got the time.
I'm sure I have them on the network. It's just I have such a finite time anymore to watch anything. It's pathetic.
I totally get it. And they went to that. But there's a point at which he was, and at this part of that in the trailer you could see his brother is like the king of Atlantis at the time because he is Aquaman's character, which I can't remember his real name.
Arthur,
yeah, that's what it is.
Begins with an M.
Arthur, but I know that's like totally wrong.
No. Go ahead, keep talking. I'll look it up.
So he was born of a human mother and an Atlantean man, his father, the king, to try to bridge the gap between the two races. And he lived as a human, and that's kind of how it works. And his brother, after his father died, became king. But he's corrupted and wants Atlantis to rise and rule the world and all that bullshit. Cliche bad guy story number 7. I think that's what a lot of the story's going to be. But in that story, he loses his hand in a fight with his brother.
Are you sure this isn't a Lucasfilm movie?
No.
Where everyone loses a hand.
Yeah. Chainsaws are on aisle 5, boys.
By the way, Arthur Curry is his name.
Arthur Curry, okay. So he loses his hand, and in part of the stories, he has this, like, hook for a hand, and it's literally like a big fishing hook for a hand. And later in the stories, because I'm sure that was difficult to draw in a comic, they gave him, like, a magical hand made of water, which I don't know how that works underwater.
Yeah.
But apparently, because plot, it has to happen. So I have high hopes for that. I have somewhat good hope. The other trailers I watched was the Godzilla King of the Monsters.
I don't know. I got burned by the last Godzilla movie big time.
Godzilla was okay.
No, it wasn't okay. It was horrible.
And I can tell you how to make it okay. Let me say that. Take out the people. Just have him fighting monsters for an hour and 43 minutes.
Yes.
Oh, hey, what's that?
That's my son's gerbil.
Oh, there
No,
you
hamster.
go.
Sorry, hamster.
Let me
That's
get one of my ferrets?
That's Cola. So that's his hamster.
So
No, the last Godzilla movie, I thought
Bryan Cranston, right?
the one that Bryan Cranston was on all the posters, all the trailers, and he died 15 minutes into it. Spoiler.
Mm-hmm.
But it was
Haven't seen it.
Yeah, it was so drawn out. I mean, you literally were in there for like an hour and 15 minutes before you even saw Godzilla.
Yeah, it was like any Godzilla film. They're hinting at him throughout the film. I mean, we're not talking the old rubber suit ones.
Yeah.
He's time in that, But in that trailer, I saw Mothra. I'm pretty sure. King Ghidorah, who's the 3-headed one, if you don't know that or not.
Yeah.
They're the two that I specifically saw. But I don't care how good or bad it is. Watching Godzilla smash buildings and fucking breathe in atomic fire is enough for my seat.
I'll have to watch that.
Yeah. The trailer's really good. I would say the trailer's good, but it should be to sell the film.
Yeah.
Even if the movie sucks, the trailer's pretty good. So, in that Godzilla film with Bryan Cranston, go back to that. I remember sitting in the drive-in, as that's where I saw it. Because it was with another film that we wanted to see. And I was like, well, we'll stay to watch it. The kids had fallen asleep, and I wanted to see it. And the part where he's really starting to battle those super bugs.
Yeah.
They're fucking moths, giant, like, crawling things or whatever they were. And he grabs the one by the mouth and looks down.
And it just goes right into it? Yeah.
See all the fins light up in the back. I said, I turned to Kelly in the car, and I go, here it comes, Kel. That was the best part of the film for me. We could always go back to the 1999 Matthew Broderick film. I mean, that sucks super bad.
Well, first that was 1998, and yes, that was horrible.
I'm sorry.
No, that was horrible.
Another trailer, one of the other things I see now coming out of Comic-Con is DC is starting their own paid online service.
I did see that. What is it? $8 a month or $79 a year? Yeah.
So one of the things coming out of that, which is already going to get my $8 a month, is a third season of Young Justice. If you've never watched Young Justice, and by that look on your face, you
No.
definitely freaking not seen it. Young Justice is probably the best DC like television cartoon, right behind Batman the Animated Series. It's real close.
That's
It's
a bold statement, my friend.
It's got a lot of fucking dark turns. It's got a lot of story twists, and it's got more characters in it than you could hope for. It's like the Avengers of fucking shit. You know what I mean? There's so many characters in it. You know, they don't all die in the end. Spoiler alert. But you know, the show got canceled after 2 seasons, and everybody was trying to get Netflix to get it. You know, and they didn't for some reason. I don't know if Warner Brothers didn't want to part with it, or maybe it's because they had the Marvel deal. I don't know.
Well, if they're planning this service, they're probably using it as a tent pole to get people onto the service.
I told Kelly, I said, I don't care if it's $20 a month. I said, I'll watch it just for that season of the show, and they cancel it. I don't care.
Okay, so I'm not busting your balls. You'd actually pay $8 a month rather than just using Cody.
I didn't want to say that, but I would really rather use Cody.
I'm like, wait a minute. You're the one that pays.
It's about stuff on Cody and you know, whatever of the services you use on Cody, legal or illegal.
They're all illegal.
Gray area, as me and you say. Oh shit! It's my brother calling. You hear that?
He calls every podcast night.
That's his new thing. Can I call you later? Okay, shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Okay, here we go. Every time. Yeah, just to see this 3rd season of this is worth it for me. It's totally worth that $8 a month. But like I said, back to Cody, the problem is that stuff doesn't come on to Cody as quick as it's like made out to be. Like everybody thinks like your hacked Fire Stick, like a movie's in the theater, then you're going to instantly see it on the Fire Stick. No, it doesn't happen that way.
I don't think people realize that Kodi, well, I should say the programs that allow you to watch stuff on Kodi, what you're basically doing is you're streaming a torrent.
Yes.
So if the torrent's not available, you can't stream it. So you're still using BitTorrent, but instead of downloading it, you're streaming from the torrent.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. Which, you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Like, I have no problem paying the money to go see a film.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously if it's a project I really like Deadpool, any Marvel film, you know, I'm gonna shell out the money for it. I'm gonna shell out the money for Shazam and fucking Aquaman too, which mind you they should have done first and then Justice League, but we'll get past that.
Don't even get me started on the whole freaking Wonder Woman thing that is just messing with my head now.
Yeah, and you know what? If they ever do a movie with that Flash, the one from the movies,
let's not do that.
I'm fucking out. I refuse.
He was horrible.
It's terrible. So, wow. Just wow. So, yeah, but like I wanted to watch. What were we gonna watch? Like, there's that documentary about Fred Rogers out there.
Yeah.
Don't You Be My Neighbor?
Yeah.
I really want to see that, but I'm like, I don't have the time right now to get to the movies. I just don't. So
I can completely relate.
Yeah. So I'm thinking to myself, well, I'll see if it comes out. I've been looking for the movie's been out for weeks now, and there's no copy to watch. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to wait. You know what I mean? You know, and I got no problem going. If it's a movie I can't get on here, I will go down to the Red Box and get it. So, you okay there?
Oh yeah, sorry. No, the headset. My wife's been borrowing my headset, so it's not exactly the same size. I should have really configured it. It's not got cooties. Ew, girl cooties.
Ew, girl cooties.
That's why we stopped at 2 kids. Too many cooties.
Sad but true. I didn't really see much more out of Comic-Con than that. I've been kind of trying to keep up with it a little bit throughout the day and the last couple of days, but of course there's the obligatory cosplay people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's like every website is doing cosplay day 1, day 2, day 3. I don't give a shit about that anymore. To a point. Depends on the characters and who's doing it. There's a couple of like really famous ones that I really enjoy really seeing, but that's it. You know. And then they said that Rebecca Romaine is gonna play.
Oh, number 1 in Star Trek Discovery on the Enterprise.
Yeah, and I've never seen Star Trek Discovery.
I'm about.
How is it?
About halfway through it. It's not bad. I will say that. It is not bad. It takes a little getting used to because just like the J.J. Abrams universe,
Is that where it is, or is it?
No, it's okay. Allow me to geek out for a few minutes. It is not
Tangent alert.
tangent alert. It is not based in the J.J. Abrams universe. It is based in the original Gene Roddenberry universe, which is the original series. This takes place 10 years before Spock and Kirk, which is very important to say that. Okay, slight spoiler alert. Even though I haven't gotten there, I looked up the spoiler. At the very last episode, the very last scene, they end up running into the Enterprise. But it's the Enterprise under Christopher Pike. That's why we're having Rebecca Romijn as number one. If you watch the original series pilot, The Cage, you would know number one was played by Majel Barrett.
Yeah.
Who went on to do the computer voice in all the series. She was Gene Roddenberry's wife. She played Nurse Chapel. She played Luoxana Troy. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, Luoxana Troy. Oh, yeah.
Here is my issue with Discovery. And I understand why. The technology they're using is in between what would be realistic today and what would be in the J.J. Abrams universe. But that being said, I understand you can't go back to the way it looked in the 60s. I mean, in the 60s, they were on a shoestring budget. They made up shit as they went. Nothing looked technological.
Skirts were a lot shorter.
Yeah. It was just blinking lights everywhere. But at the same time of saying that, some of the technology they're using completely contradicts what is happening, not only from the original series, but all the way up through Star Trek Voyager, the last series set in that universe. Well, the last series going forward in time. I mean, there was Enterprise, but that was 100 years before Spock and Kirk, so
yeah.
we can't do that. But like they
still using grappling hooks in that universe. Anyway,
exactly.
Yeah.
But here they're using holograms as communications.
Yeah, well, they were doing that in Deep Space Nine.
Deep Space Nine, they introduced that. They're using this before Spock and Kirk. The whole Vulcan thing, the last episode I watched was about Sarek, and they really, in my opinion, they really fucked up the whole concept of what a mind meld is. And I understand they can take license with that because it's not something that was explored before. So you have to take that with a grain of salt. That, okay, you're getting more information than you did in the original series and the first couple movies. So you have to understand that it's not going to look the way the original series looked. It looks better and more realistic than the J.J. Abrams universe. So it's really a good give and take. Like the J.J. Abrams universe, you always look like you're in a fucking Apple store. Everything is white and sleek.
Thing,
yeah,
too.
It's not beautiful. If anything, it looks like the Enterprise from the movies, where it's a little military. It's a little dark with light. The character plays.
You're talking now. What?
Sorry.
Where are you talking? What
Sorry.
Enterprise?
Like the Enterprise A. The Spock and Kirk movies.
Okay, because I'm thinking the E.
No. If I had to give an aesthetic to the way the ships look, especially the bridges, I would say definitely like Wrath of Khan is a perfect example. So, with that being said, on the technological note, character-wise, it is fantastic. The character, the captain of the Discovery, which you'll understand why it's called Star Trek Discovery. You don't get to that till like the third episode of really understanding.
How long are the episodes? 45 minutes?
Yeah. Okay. So it's and they're well worth it. It's just, again, you have to find that time to put in an hour and watch them. But the characters are fantastic. The captain of the Discovery is such an opposite Star Trek character. I can't stand it. How people felt about Sisko. Oh, he's not Kirk. He's not Picard. This is how they feel about, I forget the guy's name too, and I feel horrible, about the captain of the Discovery. And I love him. He is just awesome.
The only captain I never liked, and I don't want to make this a sexist statement, but I never really liked Janeway. And it's not because she was a woman. It was just because I just didn't like her style of things. I don't know.
I didn't like Janeway till about season 3. She was just too uptight.
Yes.
And then about season 3, like when they introduced like Seven of Nine and stuff like that, then
That made it easy on the eyes for the rest
it
of
did.
the show.
But I think once we got to the Borg, she realized, we can't be the uptight Starfleet officers anymore. We have to do what we need to do sometimes.
Yeah, that shows a classic example, too, of what I say is that people wanted a happy ending for Voyager.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of gave it to them.
And I will say one last thing about Star Trek Discovery. It's been said many times. I will say it again. And I will stand by my statement. They killed the Klingons. They should not have redone the Klingons. They basically turned the Klingons, in my opinion, into a pussy race.
Yeah, they're not.
I know, they're not. But that's completely my opinion.
Okay.
But
so we got that over with.
okay, are we still talking Comic-Con, or can I go off on something?
Talk whatever you want.
Okay.
Comic-Con's still here, though.
Okay. I just want to go off since you brought something up, and that really bounces off something that just happened the other day. You said that at the end of Voyager they wanted a happy ending.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's what people wanted.
Yes. So my wife and I just got done watching Grimm finally the other night.
I couldn't get through fucking 2 episodes of Grimm. I thought it was terrible.
I haven't seen all of them. She's been invested since day one. She finally got back to it about a week and a half ago. So I watched most of the last season with her. And in between, I used to watch a lot of episodes. So I kind of knew what was going on. The last episode was borderline ridiculous. It wasn't bad, but it was far from great. So afterwards, my wife and I sat down, and we had a hard time coming up with all the series you've ever watched. Has any of them had a 100% satisfying last episode? And we could not name one. Now I'm talking series that ended on purpose, not that just got canceled. So
Oh, no, I wouldn't do that.
So like I'm thinking quickly in my head, Next Generation finale was disappointing. DS9 finale was terribly disappointing. Voyager finale was a cop-out in my opinion. Enterprise finale wasn't really a finale. It was the Riker and Troy show going back on everything. Penny Dreadful was a completely disappointing ending. Dexter was a disappointing ending. I mean, some of my favorite shows that I've watched, Millennium was a disappointing ending. X-Files, the original run, not these new 2 seasons.
They canceled those 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the original run, that was a horrible ending. I mean, we were trying
All right,
to...
Here, let me think about, what do you think about the ending to Quantum Leap?
I honestly don't remember that. I remember
Okay.
he stopped jumping, right? And he was the new Al?
No, that was near the end.
That was near the end?
You're way up.
Okay.
At the end of Quantum Leap,
Yeah.
he meets God,
Mm-hmm.
who's what they say. They don't actually say it; it's just implied. And he actually, throughout the thing, is the one that's been taking him to the right place
Okay.
to help people. Never knowing, Sam Beckett never knew that he actually had control of where he could go. In the end, he could really control where his next leap was going to go. So it harkens back to an episode that was a couple seasons previous where Al was in Vietnam and got captured and was gone for a long time. And by that time, his wife had they assumed him dead, had moved on. So Sam, at the end, is almost the very last thing this is the last thing in the show. He went back and told him to wait for him. Told his, Al's wife, wait for him, he'll be back. And that's how the show ends, is Al had lived a very fruitful life, had many kids. It still was on the Quantum Leap program, obviously, but he had like a rich, fulfilling life. But Dr. Samuel Beckett never made it back home. He leaped. He was continually leaping forever.
So I don't know if I've seen that. I don't remember that.
I watched the ending to that once in a while. It's because it's fucking super depressing to tell you. Because you know what? That's all the whole. For me, the whole show is like they gave people like a boner with it. I always think because remember there was an episode where he really did get back to the Quantum Leap. I don't know if you remember it.
No, I remember that one. Yeah.
Yeah, he made it back, and him and Al switched spots.
Yeah.
So, that was that.
And then you had to do the whole choice. Does he go back and save Al and keep?
Or does he stay and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean,
That's what I thought was the ending. Honestly, that was stuck in my head as that was the final, but I guess it wasn't.
no, it went way beyond that for
Yeah.
a while. And they showed his wife in the future, Sam Beckett's wife in the future and stuff like that in that same episode. But like the last episode, I think it's on Hulu actually. So if you ever want to watch it, I mean, you don't have to watch every episode of that show.
Yeah.
It's fucking.
It's repetitive.
It is repetitive. There's a couple intertwined episodes. They had the evil leaper, that was near the end of the show. There was a girl that was actually setting right what wrong was once written right. She was actually reverse of him. That was pretty cool. But the last episode, it starts, and I won't say any more about it after this, but it starts on the exact second he was born.
Oh, okay.
So, and he doesn't realize that for a while, but then it starts to put it together. So another thing from Comic-Con is the trailer for Doctor Who.
I did see that. That actually, yes.
It looks good.
It does look good.
Yeah. I'm not worried about it anymore. Excuse me. I'm not worried about because it's a girl. I'm sick of hearing this fucking shit on the internet. Let it go,
Yeah.
people. I'm telling you now. The Doctor's a fucking alien, okay? It could be a boy, a girl. It could have 3 heads or no heads.
Let's put it this way. If you didn't freak out when the Master became a woman, there's no reason to freak out over the Doctor becoming a woman.
It's fine. Let it go. The trailer looks good.
Yeah.
Doesn't show a lot, of course, because the BBC's a little fucking dicky that way. But
I want to see if they have a new interior of the TARDIS this time.
me too. I'm
Yeah.
kind of afraid they will because I really liked Peter Capaldi's. It was like a library.
So the only one I saw last time. Oh boy, here comes my son again. What do we got now? We have a Porg in a space helmet.
Yeah. Yikes.
Dude, don't hit me. Yeah, you deserve that.
Right in the head. So, the last one you saw was...
The last Matt Smith one with the double rotating glyphs on the above the console.
And they didn't change it that much from
Okay.
Peter Capaldi's because it went to... They changed it where it had... Let me see if I can explain this. That section of the TARDIS was the same. The console was the same. The big thing above the console was the same. And then... but it had a second floor. It also had a bar. It really did. It had a second floor that was like a library, and that's where he kept the things that like really mattered to him, like his guitar. Like that's where he would play his guitar, and there was all kind of other stuff. He had literally had a library on the second floor of the control room, I guess you could say. But I miss the Matt Smith episodes of where they go more deeper into the TARDIS.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean, where other shit is in there, because all you ever see is the console room. That's all you really, and that's all you need to see, I think, in a week-to-week show. But, well, that's really bothering you.
It is. So it's like something's rubbing on the top of my head, and it's driving me freaking nuts.
Put the pad on. Yeah, so I have high hopes for this season. I hope she stays on for more than one. That would be really great.
Yeah, let's.
Thinking that shit. I think they got smart since Eccleston, and they said, well, you have to stay on for at least X seasons, you know what I mean? Or unless it's really bad. But and I'll tell you, that's all about all I saw from it this time.
Like I said, I'll be honest, I have not seen... I've seen more of Comic-Con through Instagram stories from some of the people I follow than anything else, so...
Yeah, it's that geek Facebook page that we belong to.
I really haven't been on Facebook today, so I've been busy.
That's where I've been getting most of it. Joe runs that. Is pretty good about getting updates out. So.
Yeah, I worked this morning, came home, had the kids the afternoon, and then once my wife came home, I took a nap, woke up, and... Then now, well, pretty much. It's... as you can see, my hair is a little disheveled, and I don't give a shit because I'm taking a shower after this and going to bed.
Me too.
I mean...
Well. Yep. But so what else? What do we got here?
So here's something, and this is interesting because it bounces off a subject that we discussed earlier. I was in Target this week with my son.
Target.
He was on the his new obsession is Fallout 4. That's all he plays all day every day, and he wanted a Fallout pop vinyl. Well, we went to the mall. They didn't have any, so I said, let's go to Target. Sometimes they have them there. So we go to Target. They didn't have it. But if you have, when's the last time you were at our Target?
A couple weeks ago.
Okay, so then the video game section, they have that wall of collectibles now.
Yeah.
So he was looking at the collectibles, and I turned around, and they finally had this huge stand and display completely stocked with Nintendo Labos. And you and I who have talked about what was that?
What the fuck?
Yeah, I was like, holy shit, when did this get here? And you and I said, it was kind of stupid. Now I'm excited, and I looked at it and I went, and walked away. It's like the excitement's gone.
Yeah. Do you want to fish with cardboard?
Yeah, like we were so excited. I finally saw it. Like, yes, I could take this home. And I'm like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Nintendo was trying to catch lightning in a bottle with that.
Yeah.
And they didn't. You haven't heard anything about it since.
No, you haven't.
There was like a big marketing push for that.
And
YouTube videos and ads everywhere and this and that, and all of a sudden it's out there, and they were like, "Yeah, it's cardboard." Yeah.
And they actually have more kits out now because rather than the two big kits, the robot kit and the multi kit, they had a couple small kits there too.
Oh, that's cool.
But it was just it was just one of those moments that you and I had talked about it for so long. Was finally able to buy it, and I literally went, and walked by. It's like,
That's like I get excited over the small shit. Like I surf Amazon for Amazon Prime Day was this week.
That was it broke Amazon's site. I have never seen anything break Amazon's site before.
It was a slow start, but they made like $3 billion.
Oh, of course they did.
Because they're Amazon. Because profit.
I bought one thing off the Prime sale.
I didn't buy anything. But I keep stuff in the list. You know how you make the lists on your Amazon?
I have several lists.
I have quite a few now.
Yeah.
I have quite a few things in it. But I was excited because, like, something I wanted to order on my Amazon list went down $1. I was like, oh, it's only $11.95 now. I'm simple like that. So I can tell you about the plight of the cell phone. Let me tell you this story.
Okay.
Last Saturday, we made an impromptu trip to the drive-in.
Mm-hmm.
Me and the kids, and
Was that you?
Kelly, yeah, that was my alarm.
Oh, okay.
And Kelly opened the back door and probably took the dog out. Anyway, so we said we're going to take the dog this time to see how he does.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people bring their dogs there.
We used to.
Like, huh?
We used to take Loki all the time.
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't take my other dog because he was too rough around people. But Drake's pretty friendly for the most part. So we took him up and we ran him around for a while, sat down and watched the movie. And he just settled down in the car, which was great. So before we go, Kelly says, well, I'm going to run and go get ice for the cooler. And then we've been drinking these Nestle Splash Waters because they're flavored. I have to drink more water now, so these are really easy for me. So she goes that. We fill up the cooler with ice, get in the car, and we go. And we go up through Ashley on to 29, and we hear.
Oh no!
What the hell was that sound? Right? Oh, by the way, it isn't mine.
Okay.
I smashed my $1,000 phone. So she goes, I think that was my phone. So we stop on 29. Pull over to the side of the road. I start running down the road only to see it get fucking pancaked by car after car. And I'm like, wow.
I'm sorry.
Well, that's the thing. And I just watched it. I watched her Otterbach case fucking shatter. I'll send you pictures of it. Because we had to go to the Sprint store today I had to take my daughter's. I have an iPhone SE from my daughter's last phone to upgrade it. Well, she upgraded to a different phone. So I took it with me and I said, you got to get this phone set up for you so you have a phone. Because she hasn't had a phone all week and it's driving us nuts. So
you should make her keep the SE as punishment.
It only costs, with the Apple Carrot's only $99 to get a new one. That's
there you go.
That wasn't too terrible. So I'm sending you pictures of the demolished phone right now.
Okay. I gotta see this.
So, yeah, that was that. So, and Kelly has an LG notepad that we got through Sprint for free, and it has like cellular data, so she can text with it. You know? So, but she's been so far out of loop, and I've never seen a person. I can imagine what it would be like for me and you to be somewhere where there's no internet for days. You know,
that would be our farm. There is absolutely no internet.
So you'd be down. Imagine being down there for 7 straight days. How disconnected you feel. You know? And that's that's how it was for her. Like she wasn't on, she really wasn't on Facebook that much unless she was home on her pad or whatever. And I felt bad for her, but I was like, we didn't have any time all week to I had to go to Scranton Sprint because the one up here in Wilkes-Barre actually got, whatever it is, by the mall got demolished. Yeah.
That happens.
It does.
Tornado.
Yeah, tornadoes happen. You should be getting those in a second. The one inside the mall doesn't have the authorized repair area.
Oh, really?
Or whatever. No, the one in the kiosk in the mall doesn't have that. The one that was outside the mall that got hit by the tornado had it. Of course, it's not there because it was next door to Ashley Furniture, which is, gone. And so we had to drive to Scranton on the Scranton-Carbondale Highway to the Sprint store all the way up there, which is a treat for 30 minutes. Only to go in, and we had to take the 2 pieces of the phone.
Oh, I can't wait to see these pictures.
You should have them by now. My phone should have sent them.
I just got them.
You just got them? You got to see these fucking pictures. They're great.
It's downloaded. I'm off my Wi-Fi, so an LTE here sucks.
So we had to take, years ago when I sat on my iPhone 6 Plus and I totally wrecked the screen. It was in my back pocket.
Holy
just had to go on. Yeah, look at it. Isn't that fucking
my God.
It's complete. It was in 2 separate halves, and we didn't find any more of the case. So
let me see if I can bring that up there.
Yeah, there's my poor wife's phone.
Holy shit!
It fucking shattered. What's funny was after it got ran over, it was still sending out the GPS signal for a little while.
Oh, that's impressive.
That was pretty impressive. So when I did my old phone when it got wrecked, and even when my daughter got hers, when it would happen to hers, all we had to do was go on the website, enter what happened. They would send you a package with the new phone and a return thing to send back the busted one. Now all of a sudden they don't do that anymore. So that's why we had to drive the fucking Scranton-Carbondale Highway out there, crossing the Viewmont Mall essentially, which is right where it is actually, all the way out there.
It's not that far. You sound like my mother. It's only 40 minutes.
30, actually.
Oh, so you're bitching about 30 minutes.
I am bitching about it. It's an hour, if you think about it.
Oh, my God.
30 minutes up, it's 30 minutes fucking
Holy
back.
Shit, buddy.
Yeah.
Cry me a fucking river.
Yeah, okay, cheapo. You would want to go how cheap you are.
I have no problem with my wife does 45 minutes each way for work. If I got to see my in-laws, that's at least an hour and a half each way. Exactly.
All right.
What's your commute? 5 minutes?
4.
There you go, you bastard.
4 if I do it right.
Both your mother and your mother-in-law are less than 90 seconds away.
My mom is probably 30.
Exactly.
And I could run to my mom's in 2 minutes.
And that's saying a lot for your condition.
Yeah. Yes, very much so. And then, mother-in-law's, that's like 2 minutes by a drive,
Yeah. So, yeah. You're like my mother. 30 minutes for you is a day trip. Did you pack a lunch, honey?
Yeah, no. So, what's a dangerous thing, too? I sent you the Apple Music thing. That's a dangerous fucking thing.
I honestly don't belong to any music service other than Amazon Prime Music, and that's it.
Apple Music is dangerous because, do you know you can ask Siri to tell you what a song is?
No, I did not.
I didn't know that until my brother-in-law told me the other day.
That's what I have Shazam for.
It's the same thing.
Speaking of Shazam.
Shazam! That's a great throwback to 5 minutes ago. But anyway, it's powered by Siri's powered by Shazam in that sense. Where if you ask Siri, hey, what's this song? She'll listen to it and tell you what it is. But you could also click on it and go right to Apple Music, and it'll take you to the album. So I was in the car with my mom, and I don't listen to radio in my car fucking ever.
Mm-hmm.
Ever do I do it. So I heard hold on, what are the songs that I heard this week that I downloaded because you could download like unlimitedly? Let's see, what's on Jerry's iPhone? We could make a whole show out of this.
Oh God, let's not.
Wait, no, we can make a whole show out of my YouTube feeds.
Oh God.
I downloaded Puddle of Mud. She fucking hates me.
Oh no, that brings back a good memory of my
It
bachelor
does.
party.
I found those videos. They are on your YouTube page.
Oh, they are. Yeah.
Rod Stewart Essentials.
Whoa, really, Rod Stewart?
I like Rod Stewart. Neil Young, Rockin' in the Free World. The soundtrack from the Chicago film, because I enjoy that.
Oh.
The song I sent you, Don't Look at Me About Chicago. That movie's fantastic.
Oh, Jerry.
Watch it. I'm telling you. You'll fucking change your mind. I walked out of the theater liking that more than my wife and my mother-in-law. The Ferris Bueller's Day Off soundtrack.
Now, there you go.
That's a fucking rock and roll soundtrack. Do you really need a knife?
I always have knives. I have right now 3 knives on my desk.
Oh. Nirvana Essentials.
Okay.
Pearl Jam Essentials. The theme to Weird Science, because I think that's funny.
Can't go wrong with Oingo Boingo.
I know. Not many people will know that. George Thorogood and the Destroyers.
Can't go wrong with them.
Oh, and it goes on and on. Like, every time I hear a song, I'm downloading the album. So, I got hooked on it.
I'm sorry, George Thorogood. Everyone thinks Bad to the Bone. No. I drink...
One whiskey, one shot, and one beer is the best song you ever did.
Nah, I Drink Alone, I think, is the best song.
Yeah, that's a good one, too.
Yeah.
But Apple Music, for its price, is pretty good. You know what I mean? It's like $10 a month. And you can download unlimited songs from there to your phone. You know?
My biggest thing with a pay-for-music service, and this is where, again, I go...
Pay for it? Is that what it is?
It's not that I pay for it. This is where I get into the whole cheap thing, is I don't listen enough to it to warrant paying for it. We used to pay for Sirius Radio for my wife when she worked in Stroudsburg. She only listened to it in the car, and that was fine. But then we paid for Pandora Plus when she started working in Hazleton, and she actually found out that she was listening to music less. That I don't think we've ever gotten the full benefit of a music subscription that we've tried. I tried the Spotify Premium membership, and I didn't use it enough. That the only, I guess you could say, audio-like membership I ever got use out of was my Audible Platinum membership.
Napster?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that's really...
Kids will never know how awesome Napster really was.
I got a funny story about Napster, but I'll tell you that in a minute.
Oh my God, I can't believe you do.
Oh yeah, but to me, I listen to a lot of music. I listen to a lot of off-the-wall music sometimes. That, for me, if I'm in that mood to listen to it, I'll just play it off my library. I've never had an instance where I need it somewhere else. That having a music service like Apple Music, like Spotify, where I could just pick one particular song, has never appealed to me enough. That if I want an alternative to the radio, I listen to Pandora. I was listening to Pandora today at work after I finished a podcast. That I don't care about hearing an ad every 3 songs. That doesn't bother me.
That wouldn't bother me either, to tell you the truth. But it's like, I've been on this run of, and this is particularly in the last few months, of like hearing songs that I remember were awesome in like the late 80s, early 90s, you know, all the way up through that, you know? And I was like, so I heard like Will Smith's Miami. Remember that song? That was popular in its day, you know? I was like, man, that was a good song. And then made me think of like 3 other Will Smith songs that I like. And then it went into like Puddle of Mud, you know what I mean? Like I heard that song, and I'm like, I really like that. It was a great memory for me. And so, you know, it kept going, and I'm like, and now I have this great playlist of songs that I loved in the last, 15 years, and that I'll always listen to.
Well, the other day, what's today? Today's
Saturday.
Saturday, so it was Thursday. I was down in the cemetery working, and I was cutting. Again, finished my audiobook, and I threw on Pandora, and I heard a song come on that I really liked. So all I do, and because I'm cheap, is I just stopped, took a screenshot of it, and I'm like, okay, eventually later I'll go home and I'll download it.
That's a good system.
So
see, I do that when if I'm somewhere, like at work, my phone signal's pretty crappy inside the building. But if I hear a song on the the radio there, I actually write it down, like type it into my phone and my messages, and I send it to myself. So I'm like, all right, download. Like, it was Weird Science I had heard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do that with Shazam a lot, because you can go in there under My Shazams, and it'll show you all the songs you Shazammed.
Oh,
And
I didn't know that. I'll have to look at that.
so a lot of times, like if I'm in the car and I have the radio on and I like a song, I'll quick Shazam it, and that way later on I know exactly what song it is, and I'll download it because for me, for the amount of music I listen to and I like, it's cheaper for me in the long run to buy one song here and there than it is to pay $10 a month.
Yeah, I get it. Like I downloaded the Essential Weird Al.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a great album. There's a lot of good songs on there, but there's not all the ones I love. You know what I mean? There's a lot of songs.
And you and I both have the entire Weird Al catalog, so it's
Yeah,
not like
I have most of them on my phone.
Yeah.
And I have most of the Jimmy Buffett's, but his log, and what is really nice is like it's not restricted to, just backlog of an artist's things. Like even if like there was an album that Jimmy Buffett put out was all the stuff from a old recording company that had closed, and he got the rights back to them, and he published them all through Apple. Well, he published them all through his label, but it wasn't right on Apple Music. And it was like the day it came out, I clicked on my phone, boom, I was listening to it in 5 minutes. It's really good for that. Or when you want to jam out to Bohemian Rhapsody for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, you never need a reason for that.
Oh, you don't.
And that new trailer kicks ass for Bohemian Rhapsody that just dropped.
God.
I am counting down to November for that.
Oh, man. I know Kelly and I are like, we're dying to see it.
I think we played that trailer like 3 times in a row at like max volume. It's just I can't wait for that.
Him, man. He looks just like him.
Yeah.
And that's a tough order.
Ironically, this is the pop vinyl of him from Mr. Robot.
Mr. Robot. I don't know how people like that show.
Oh, I love that show.
It got so fucking stupid.
Oh,
that's my opinion.
Go fuck yourself.
Oh, fuck you. Okay. Haven't seen Justice League or Justice League.
Sorry, I don't watch as many cartoons as my 41-year-old friend.
Yeah. These shows are friggin' 15 years old. They were years ago. I'm watching them over.
Still doesn't mean they're not cartoons. Not that there's anything wrong with cartoons. I'm not blaming that, but
that's what it sounds like.
So.
Shit. What is it? Oh, it's my keys. So we've Comic-Con.
Yes.
We've Movie-Con.
Oh, when you mentioned Napster.
Oh yeah.
So.
Can't have a story about this.
Oh, I do. Believe it or not. So I'm redoing my entire intranet. And to access the intranet outside of the house, I use a service called NoIP. But I had everything based on WordPress, and for some reason it wouldn't load the CSS or anything else like that outside the house. So I'm recreating the site in static form. It's just a static web page, but it looks just like it. To do that, the easiest way for me to do that was to use tables. For those of you who do web development, you know that tables are archaic and they're old. Easiest way for me to do tables was to use Microsoft Front Page. Easiest way for me to do that was to create a Windows XP virtual machine on my Mac and load the program. In doing so, I needed some extra programs that, Jerry, you know I'm a digital pack rat, that I keep everything I've ever downloaded.
You do?
So I went back to one of my old drives that I have on my computer and went to an old drive that I had during the Windows XP days that had a lot of the downloads. In going through that, I found one of the original Napster installers.
Whoa!
Yeah!
Did you try to run it?
I did not try to run it.
Oh, shit. That would have been awesome.
But this is like 1999/2000 Napster that it was the installer for it. I'm like, damn!
Winamp.
Oh, I have Winamp. I actually have Winamp on the Mac. I downloaded the last version just for nostalgia.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually found.
Still a thing? Like
what, Winamp? Oh, they went out of business a while ago. AOL shut them down. AOL bought them, and then they shut it down. But yeah, you can still download all the versions.
Winamp was like the shit back in the day. You know, when you needed like a movie music player, that wasn't like the base ones you got with your EOS. Yeah, it was there for you.
Yeah, it was.
And it also had like at the time I thought they were kind of like live streams.
No, they had live streams because you could do Shoutcast was part of Winamp, and I actually had an internal Shoutcast server when I was living by myself. That I had a computer off to the side, load up with gigabytes of music with a Shoutcast server. So if I was just in the mood to to listen to something, rather than go through my library, I would just bring up Winamp, hit the in-house radio station, and it would just randomly stream gigabytes of music all day long.
That's awesome.
Can you hear my
Are
kids screaming at each other?
Yeah, I was gonna ask who's dying.
Yeah, this would be my kids fighting. It's about
Right
that
now.
time, yeah.
Yeah, right now.
Yeah, it's like a little battle royale, I swear. So, they're not dying, they're just
Thunderdome.
fighting. This is what happens when an 8-year-old and a 3-year-old share a room.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
I ended up with an impromptu no kid night.
damn. And you're on here?
What
the hell's wrong with you?
I don't know.
Go get it wet.
Yeah. Well, that's probably not happening. I mean, realistically. So. Yeah, no.
But when we're talking about Napster, the one thing I do miss about Napster, and actually I just talked this the other day with my mom because I had to restore her hard drive because she had a major crash and she was worried about her music, is back in the day with Napster, you got the best bootlegs off of Napster.
Oh, you did?
Live recordings, B-sides that were never released. I used to get some of the best shit.
That's where I got that Sheryl Crow album. Remember that one we had? That one I sent? I don't think I sent it to you. I can't remember what the hell the name of it was. But it was all these goofball recordings that she did before she was anybody.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then there was all the stuff from the Rolling Stones that I had. They were like old BBC recordings that were never released. And it was all this weird shit that I got from that. And I got from Kaza or whatever it was. God, that was a great service too, except for the unamounted amount of viruses that you got from it.
That and LimeWire were known as like virus havens.
I know. I remember you took my computer after I had Kaza on it.
I almost didn't give it back to you. I'm like, what you're doing to this thing is criminal.
Yeah. I remember you went, there's so much viruses on here, it didn't know what to do. Well.
Well, a guy I knew back in the Napster days, when you remember back in the late 90s, early 2000s, where hacking a DirecTV box was a thing? That you could load the information on the DirecTV card and unlock all the channels?
Oh, yeah, I know. I had a guy that did that.
Exactly. Well, I knew a guy who was in a group that did that. How they shared their files was they would have a specially named song, but they would name the file that song and put it on Napster. That they only knew the title of that, but if you looked at it, it was, say, assbutt.mp3. No one's going to search for it, but if you download it and change the extension, there was your file to hack your DirecTV card.
Yeah. I had a guy who lived not too far from you who did that, and he was one of those guys that did VCDs.
Oh, yes, I remember VCDs.
The VCD guy?
Oh, yeah.
I worked with him for quite a few years.
I think you hooked me up with quite a few VCDs over the years.
I got some good shit out of that guy before he got arrested.
He got arrested?
Well, from what I heard, he evaded the law.
Ah, okay.
Say that. I don't know how really true it was, but he was into the satellite card thing, and he was into that. But he got out of the satellite card because he found out there's a way to do it through your computer. Mm-hmm. You hook up your satellite box to your computer, and from computer to your TV or something like that, but there's a program that filters it all out automatically. It never gets nailed.
That's cool.
Yeah, but I mean, that was the old DirecTV systems.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It had to be back in late 90s, early 2000s. If you didn't understand or you weren't alive or used DirecTV back then, you have no clue what any of that meant. So.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was back in the day. That was the guy. I was always blown away by VCDs. Like, you'd get an hour and 45-minute movie on a CDR.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck. And I remember I had one of those Apex DVD players. And if people don't know what that is, Apex, they were like the cheapo DVD players.
But they played everything.
They played every fucking file imaginable. I remember putting MP3s on a CDR, burning it, and put it in my Apex player, and that fucker would play it.
Yep.
They were $20. You know what I mean? Near the end, anyway. I remember that. I remember somebody told me once that DVD wasn't going to make it.
Oh, God.
A guy I worked with says, he goes, DVD's not going to make it.
Let me guess, he worked for Circuit City when their DivX discs came out, where you buy the disc and rent it off the disc.
He worked with me, by the way. He goes, DVD's not going to make it. And I'm like, yeah, all right. And I went and I remember I bought a DVD player and all that. And a couple months after I got it was when I remember it was like, you're the one that told me about DVD. I would have never
Yeah.
gotten about you.
Well, I worked at Sears when they first came out because the very first DVD players we got, and this was back in '98. I think the cheapest one we had was like $700. They were several $100 a pop.
I remember my Sony one was $400.
Yeah.
I remember when I bought it. But
Now you can get them at the Salvation. I just saw one the other day at Goodwill to play. It was, I've never seen one like this. It was a 3 DVD changer.
I've seen them in 5-disc too.
Yeah, it was a Pioneer, and
so if
it was
watch
$5.
The Lord of the Rings trilogy, you could never have to get up,
Exactly. Just next disc, next disc.
Yeah. Disc 2, Disc 3, Disc 4.
Unless you're watching the extended versions, then well.
Yeah. The extended versions. Yeah. Good luck getting off the couch after that. You'd be dead. 40 hours of film. Man. I haven't watched them in a long time either, only because I was soured by The Hobbit. So.
Yeah, every once in a while I'll throw on Fellowship of the Ring to go to sleep to. So.
I usually put on the Two Towers. I like the Two Towers.
So. I honestly, I don't know if I have the energy to sit down and watch them all.
No, I'd have to watch them like an hour at a time. Like sit down, watch it, get back to it. But it would probably take me a month.
Oh, there's something else coming out from. Well, it was a day before Comic-Con. They announced, and this I was pissed because there's nothing close to me. For the 10th anniversary, which I can't believe it's 10 years already, for the 10-year anniversary of The Dark Knight.
Oh, I saw this stuff.
On the day it's being released, it's going to, I think it's 5 different IMAX theaters for one showing only.
Oh, anything near us?
Times Square.
Oh, that's not close enough.
No, I don't feel like doing the 2.5-hour trip
for a 2-hour movie and then come home.
I mean, it's a great movie, but but yeah, it's just If they were showing, I think, well, not even then. I was like, if they're showing all 3, but do I really have to watch The Dark Knight Rises again? That's a rough one to get through.
Yeah, 2-hour movie with 18 minutes of Batman, Yeah. It's like Iron Man 3.
Yeah, it's tough to get through that.
12 minutes of Tony Stark. Shit, I think Pepper's in the suit more than she is. More than he is. We're in a no Marvel zone right now.
It's refreshing. It is the fact that Marvel is not a Comic-Con when they've dominated every other Comic-Con.
Yeah, why didn't they go?
They won't.
They have to. I mean,
they don't have to. But I think one of the reasons, honestly, is because they don't want to give anything away from Avengers 4. Because if they go there, they're gonna have to
sell merch.
But they're gonna have to have a panel. They're going to have to show something at the panel. So rather than go through all that bullshit and get bad press that they didn't show anything, I think they just said, peace out. And...
Yeah.
Because everything now is going to be intertwined with Avengers 4. Captain Marvel's going to be in there. Ant-Man is in there. I mean, there is no standalone movie now being developed that is going to not be part of Avengers 4.
I really want to see Ant-Man and the Wasp.
So, I heard it was good, but not fantastic.
I don't know. I'll let Cody decide.
So there you go.
Yeah, I'll let Cody decide that one for me. Maybe tonight. Yeah, I don't know. It's like them not. Well, speaking of the juggernaut that is Disney, Comcast backed out of the Fox deal.
I saw that.
So now technically, if they do buy Fox, John McClane from Die Hard is underneath the fucking Disney umbrella. That makes my day.
You know what's gonna make my day?
What?
The Bruce Willis roast in a few days.
Oh, I can't wait. How about? Did you see the clips where his ex-wife shows up?
Oh yes.
Oh man. I don't know how I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna watch that.
I could hook you up.
Let me know. Speaking of hooking up, we talked the other day. So kind of forgot about how good the VPN has its uses.
Oh yes.
We talked the other day, and this is on the subject of Doctor Who. I could just get myself a IP in, good old Britain.
Yep.
Watch me some.
You could go right on the BBC player, right on the BBC website and watch it.
Yeah, I wonder if does it cost to watch on the BBC iPlayer?
I don't know, I'll be honest.
Okay, because if it costs anything, I'm downloading the episodes. I mean,
So,
that's
yeah.
be fucking. Uh,
But yeah, it's the VPN. How can I say this without being too obvious? The VPN.
you can't.
You can't. The VPN has saved me lots of money.
Yes, it has. The VPN is cost cutting effectively.
It is. It is. What I pay per year on the VPN pays for itself within the first 2 months of having it.
Yeah, it has. It really has. I mean, the VPN with Cody saves you
Yes.
a lot of. You know what I mean? It's like I don't use it straight up. Like I said, I will go. So we've said this many times. I will go pay for a movie that I fully would like to support.
And I try to do that if I can. Like Deadpool 2, we just did not have the time. We did not have the babysitter. I may or may not have watched a cam copy. What's that?
That's how we do it in Mother Russia. That's the best fucking scene in that film. He shoves that wire up that guy's ass and throws him in the water. I don't know. There's a lot of good parts of Deadpool 2, but
And the one
part with Cable.
Yes. And the one thing I will say like about the VPN is a lot of movies that have looked good that come out in the theater that I have eventually watched on, I can't even say home video anymore. I guess just home disc. Digital. I mean, we grew up with a thing that was always called home video, and now it's not even close to that.
Oh, I got a story with that too.
But that we've watched on there that honestly has absolutely been horrible. We watched Red Sparrow about 2 weeks ago. And yeah, it's a Jennifer Lawrence movie where she's a Russian ballet dancer who becomes a spy. And
it's got potential.
It's like 2.5 hours long. And at the end of it, my wife and I both looked at each other and went, what the fuck did we just watch?
That was like that Angelina Jolie movie, Salt.
So,
you ever see that?
No.
She was a spy for the Russians who had an American life.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like a sleeper kind of cell.
Oh no, I do remember that. Now then, she was like activated, and
activated. Starts doing that. I was waiting for the movie to get good, and it just never did.
Yeah. The only redeeming factor about Red Sparrow is you get to see Jennifer Lawrence's tits, if that's your thing.
Hey, so hang on, what was that called? I'll get you that later.
But yeah, that was just, it was one of those movies that. Then we watched.
Episode.
What did we watch? Oh, last week we watched Super Troopers 2, which we loved the first Super Troopers, and it was horrible. Like almost no redeeming factor whatsoever to it. Really?
I wanted to see that. The first Super Troopers is hilarious.
It is hilarious. The second one has a few moments of hilarity, and I will let you decide. But yeah.
I will. You know what? I'll try to catch it.
Yeah.
I'll try to watch it this week sometime. I want to watch The Equalizer.
Okay, yeah. With Denzel Washington, yeah.
Yeah, because there's a sequel out, and I'd like to watch that. Guy I work with said the first one's fantastic.
I'll have to watch.
Are you dying, dog? I know. All right. He's like.
But then at the same time, you get movies that you weren't sure about that end up being fucking awesome, like Death Wish.
Chicago.
I get off your fucking Chicago kick. Go make out with Richard Gere somewhere.
No, I'm telling you. All right, you're gonna have to watch it. I'm telling you. Your wife would love it.
She does. She still reminds me that I broke her Chicago CD accidentally. Her soundtrack CD.
Oh, I see. This has got a personal gripe.
So, well, she left it out, and something fell on it, and you know. But I do like the fact, like with the Kodi and the VPN and other methods, that you don't get burned, because let's be honest, it's not cheap to go to the movies.
No.
I took both kids to see The Incredibles 2, and between tickets and concessions, I mean, that was almost $70.
Yeah, I went to see The Incredibles 2 on I think it was the week it came out, and luckily I had 2 free passes.
Nice.
And it was matinee.
Okay.
So
well,
I paid $7 for me to get in, whatever it is, $6, and then I spent $40 on concessions.
Yeah,
that's what they get you.
Yeah, because it wasn't quite it was matinee, but we went up to Cinemark
Oh,
because being my daughter's first movie, we wanted that extra space.
yeah.
Where if we went to the local theater with just regular stadium, you're kind of stuck there. Where with the openness of the reclining seating, she was actually able to walk. Had you been there, right, with the recliner?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
I saw Deadpool 2 there.
yeah, so she was able, like when she got antsy, to walk up to that wall and just kind of hang on the wall and watch the movie, and she wasn't in anybody's way.
Yeah.
So we did that,
They
but
got to win there. The only problem for me is it, and I hate to sound like your mom, it's the fucking drive up there for me to go see.
oh my god,
I'm sorry. You know what I mean? It really is.
oh my
If I want
god,
to see a movie, I could drive right downtown and go see one.
oh dude, no, it's.
Don't call me cheap because you're just as cheap as I am.
I am
Give it
cheap, but I am not afraid to leave my home.
I'm not afraid to leave my home either. I go places all the time. But
Apparently, down the street is all the time.
that's out of the house.
The only complaint I have about Cinemark with the leather recliners and everything, and everybody says the same thing, is when you move them up and down, it sounds like you're farting. They go.
You're right. You're right. That's better than the D-box seats.
So, and I took my daughter because, like you said, I think it was like almost $8 a ticket. So right there, you're talking like $32, and because the kids are only 50 cents cheaper. Ooh ah.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, and then again, like another $30 at the concession stand. But we got the big tub of popcorn for the four of us. Well, at one point, my daughter would not give up the popcorn to anybody. So there we are sitting there, and she's sitting next to me, and this tub of popcorn's like a quarter of the size of her. So we're watching Incredibles 2, having a good time. All of a sudden, I look over, and I shit you not, she's got the tub of popcorn in both hands, just shoveling in her mouth, going, ah! And I'm like, holy shit!
Damn. Damn. That's awesome.
Oh.
Oh, that's great. That's good shit.
But
Okay.
again, for a movie like that, I'm willing to pay to take the kids. But like you're looking at $60-$70 just for a 2-hour endeavor.
Yeah.
So, and then we did dinner afterwards.
There's another $50.
Yeah, so it's not cheap.
No, it's not.
Even I mean last year Jack and I went to a baseball game with the Cub Scouts, and I enjoyed it. But again,
Rail Riders? Did you see the Rail Riders?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good stadium. There's not a bad seat there.
no, and the tickets were reasonable. I think we ended up paying like $15-$16 a ticket. But again, I want a soda. Okay, that's $10. Fuck, what? Daddy, I want a hot dog. Well, there's another $7. Enjoy that
Yeah.
$7 hot dog.
Yeah. That is one of the things about you're going to get that at
Any place. That's the problem.
Yeah, any sport is like that.
Well,
we went up there about 3 weeks ago,
Mhm.
and I took the kids. Now, I didn't pay for the tickets. We got them as a gift from my aunt. She bought us all tickets. Like 10 of us went.
Mhm.
It was like me and the kids, my brother, my cousins, my aunts, my mother. But I remember going up and getting like a soft pretzel, a hot dog, a French fry, and 3 drinks, and I
Holy
had
shit.
$40, and I didn't get any change.
I want to say, Mr. Rich Man over here.
Yeah, well, it was like vacation-y kind of money
Yeah.
spent there, but I mean, like when I go to a ball game, I want to have a good time.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
And that's the thing. You can't take the kids there and go, Daddy, I'm thirsty. Too bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hungry. So what? I mean, you gotta.
Sure,
My thing is always like when you go somewhere and you have to pay like an admission, you better have triple that in your pocket to eat.
Yes.
Like we're going to the Camden Aquarium in a few weeks, and
Place.
oh, I love the Camden Aquarium, and she's of a good age now. Well, she'll appreciate it. Before then, she was a little too young because we're doing the aquarium, then a hotel with a pool for the night, then going to the beach for 2 days with a hotel with a pool. So that way, because they love swimming, so they could always go swimming somewhere. But when I was online getting tickets, the tickets aren't that bad priced. If you've ever been to the aquarium's beautiful, so I don't mind paying the price for the tickets. But if you go online and buy the tickets, they have a special package. It's an extra $7 per ticket, but you get any combo meal you want in their cafeteria for lunch.
Oh, how much is the combo meal?
I don't know, but you're paying $7. $7 comes with the food and the drink.
Well, no, I get that.
Yeah.
But if the combo meal is $5 when you get there,
but I don't care.
Yeah.
Because when you say you get
Copy that, rich Uncle Pennybags.
no, and listen to me, and you'll understand because you have kids. If you tell the kids you each get a combo meal, you're now narrowing their focus rather than I want a bag of chips, I want this, I want one of these, I want. No, here's your choices because that's what we paid
Your
for.
focus. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That I love that. So.
Good boy. So.
And I will say, I don't know, I haven't stayed in a hotel in about 2 years, but just from my experience, the price of hotels has come down, and I love that.
Depends on where you are. Down there, like if you're staying down by Baltimore, if there's no major events going on,
Yeah.
you're good. You know what I mean? Try to stay down there when there's a concert right at the pavilion there.
Yeah. Well, you never stay that, but we're staying, inside of New Jersey. It's a little place called Mount Laurel. It's right off the Jersey Turnpike, so we can hop right on and go to the beach. We're staying there, and then we're staying another place at the beach, and we're not paying over $100 a night for any room. And that is fantastic. They're both, well, the one we're staying in outside of Camden is a very well-known name brand hotel. The other one, the beach motels. They're all privately owned, but I mean, all clean, all good with pools. And I just remember I remember a couple years ago, just you couldn't find a hotel room for like under 150 anywhere that you didn't want to get an infection from, or bed bugs, or mites, or anything.
When I go into a hotel anymore, I immediately burn the mattress. Sleep on the floor, guys. So, all right. I think we've ranted, haven't we?
We got an hour and 16 in here.
All right.
So.
The only reason I want to say that is it's been really fun talking tonight, but my ass hurts on this chair.
Oh.
I'm getting old, man.
You are getting old.
I am getting old. And you know what? For me to drive and get a new chair, it's too far away.
Oh. That's good. I like that.
Yeah, I like that one.
I like that a lot.
Oh. Yeah, you know what, though? I'm hoping to see some other good trailers out of Comic-Con. We'll just go back to that one more time.
Yeah.
I really hope we see some better stuff. DC's service is also going to have that, before we're done here, it's going to have, I think it's a live-action Teen Titans
I did see
show.
I did see a picture of that, I think.
Because there's a like, I know you'll hate it, but there's a part where Robin says, "Fuck Batman."
Fuck that kid.
I know. Yeah.
Unless it's Dick Grayson, because then he becomes Nightwing. If that's a transition to Nightwing, that's awesome. But
yeah, but it's the Teen Titans. If you think of the TV show, the cartoon, not the new one either. That's really shitty.
I don't know. The kids watch one of the Teen Titans. It has that beginning goes dun 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 T-I-I-N.
Yeah, that's the one from about 5 years ago.
That's the one they watch all the time.
Teen Titans. There's also one that's called Teen Titans Go. That's on Cartoon Network.
I think they watch that too.
Yeah, those people who voiced from the old one came back to this one, but this has nothing to do with them like solving crimes or defeating bad guys.
Oh no!
It's all the stuff that happens in between missions.
Oh.
That's the whole show. And I said to myself,
why?
I can never watch. Well, yeah, why? Why would you do this to such great characters?
Why do I want to watch angsty teenagers when we live with them?
Yeah.
I mean,
yes, very much yes. Plus, after you've seen how Starfire's drawn in the comics and how she's drawn on television, you'll never look at it the same. So, look it up. It's really weird. In fact, I'm going to send that to you.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's I want to see, but like now they portray some of the characters in that Titans trailer. Now that I got back, because that was another one I did watch. It was like they're the same, but they're not. It's weird. They must have had to change it up for them to be, I don't want to say TV friendly, but more realistic, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know. Oh, that's how I'm seeing that.
A little darker, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and then there's another trailer I watched. It doesn't really matter for you that much, but a new Dragon Ball Super movie coming out. Even though Dragon Ball Super's over, so they're going into films with that now. I'm trying to find this like modern Starfire picture. I probably can't. Crap. Okay. No, never mind. No, I'm not never minding. Never mind. I think I found one. Okay. I think I found one. Save image. Okay, here we go. So, yeah. I don't know. If there's more than 2 shows on it, that DC service might be worth it. Kelly's battling the dog for me.
I don't know. I can't see paying for another service. I pay for 3 of them right now, and we can actually get quite a bit out of those 3, but I can't see paying
You pay for Amazon Prime, Hulu, and Netflix?
That's it.
Yeah. You should have that in a minute.
Oh, just got it.
Yeah, in the middle of that is what she looks like in the cartoon, and the other ones are like comic book and modern-day depictions of her.
Yeah, I'd say that's a little different.
I'd say they don't do her justice on that show. So, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. I'm going to see what's the offering on that DC service.
Okay.
Because, eventually the Disney one will be coming.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting because then all the Marvel properties and possibly all the Fox properties are going to go onto that.
Not more than that. I mean, Jesus, everything they own will be there.
I mean, you're going to have all your Marvel movies.
The vault will be open, huh?
Your Star Wars movies, your X-Men movies, your Deadpool, your Wolverine movies, and all that fun shit.
That's like watching fucking Frozen with your daughter and then putting Logan on the same service. I mean, that's not bad, actually. Now
no, that's not that bad. One service for that.
Yeah.
Although my daughter's never seen Frozen.
Lucky you.
She hasn't discovered it yet. She just... What did she discover the other day? No, my son introduced her to My Little Ponies. He loves My Little Ponies.
The new one?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good man.
So,
that show's hilarious.
He's upset because it said it's going off... I think it's on Netflix right now. It's going off next month.
Really?
Of the service. That's what he said. That said the content expires on August something. He's like, I got to hurry up and watch them all. I'm like, go for it, buddy. So,
that's really upsetting. Me and the kids watch that all the time.
So, or is it Hulu he watched? Whatever service he watches it on.
Oh, hold on. I'm really upset. I'll be really upset now.
Is it Hulu? He told me that it was supposed to go off sometime in August.
Oh yeah, it says available until 8/16/18.
There you go.
Oh.
Now, what service is that? Is that Hulu?
It's Netflix.
Netflix, yeah. Because he's like, Dad, I gotta watch them all. I said, then watch them all. I'm not gonna blame you for binge watching once it leaves.
No, that's really sad. Because like the kid, Megan grew up on that, and so we've all watched it from the beginning. Leaving Netflix.
In fact, I think they're watching it right now.
No, I'm not. I will when we hang up, though.
No, I said I think they are, because...
Oh. My Little Pony leaving Netflix? No.
So...
It never says why they leave.
You know it's money.
It is. But they're also... What's that on? Discovery Kids? Or is that on Disney's service? No, that's Discovery Kids.
What's that?
My Little Pony. That's
really?
On the Discovery Kids channel, yeah.
Oh.
I think it is. It doesn't matter. But and another show that's starting to creep back up again is DuckTales with David Tennant is getting more episodes or more seasons.
Okay, speaking of DuckTales, back to our trip to Target. My son and I both stopped dead on the end cap in Target. They had DuckTales figures. And it's about this big, I would say probably about 12 inches high, Scrooge's Money Pit.
That's fucking awesome.
And I'm like, dude, and Jack's like, oh my God, it's Scrooge's Money Pit. I'm like, I know, I want that. He's like, me too. Then it was like $30, and we're like, screw that. That's a video game right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't spend $30 on it, but the new DuckTales cartoon's pretty good.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's definitely it doesn't sit on the same formula of the original DuckTales cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like centered towards a lot of the comic book stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was a big comic for years.
Yeah, I used to read it, actually, that and Tailspin back in the day. Back in the 80s, yeah. I used to love the Tailspin comic books.
Well, like DuckTales comes from the comic book. It was called Uncle Scrooge. Mm-hmm. And they were from, like, the 60s. And it kind of like plateaued with that show. But Mike Matei from Cinemassacre, he does a great, like, video. I want to say video because I don't know where I wanted to go with it, but a video of like the history of it, of DuckTales and where all that came from. Because all those other shows owe them that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
The Disney afternoon.
See, Afternoon kind of owes DuckTales a lot of money
Yeah.
because, yeah. And if you don't know what the Disney Afternoon is, you're too fucking young to be listening to this.
Yes. And all I have to do right now is
Right.
is like hum the first couple bars of the DuckTales theme, and everyone will be bursting into song.
I like that. I liked Darkwing Duck. I always found
Yep.
that hilarious.
I always like Darkwing Duck, DuckTales, of course, and Tailspin. I always like Tailspin.
Was really good. Tailspin was very childish, and it was meant to be. Like Darkwing Duck had a lot of adult themes and jokes in it, I always thought. And DuckTales was for kids, like it really was. But
Gummy Bears was good for the theme because it was like an addicting theme song.
it was like that was like the greatest '80s theme of all time.
Yeah.
You know, and I'd hate to. Kelly and I always argue about that one of like, what's the greatest cartoon theme of all time? You know, and like Ninja Turtles, that's really good, and
That is good. G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe and DuckTales, of course, is one that you can't get out of your head. That becomes an earworm very quickly.
Gummy Bears, like we talked
Gummy
about.
Bears, Darkwing Duck. There's a lot of them, and it's really tough to choose because I mean, not everybody watched the same cartoons as kids because, like, when I was growing up, I didn't have the Disney Channel. Did you?
No, we were poor.
She did.
She did?
She had because there was cartoons I'd never heard of.
No, we were
It's
poor.
just
We didn't have that.
Like Wuzzles. You ever heard of Wuzzles?
I did.
I never heard of them. I almost always assumed Kelly made them up.
No, because my sister had one or two, and I had one of them. It was a lion something. Do you remember the
Kel-
Do you remember the Snorks?
Yeah, what was the lion from Wuzzles? Yeah. She'll get back to us. Don't look it up.
Let's see who's faster at Google.
I'm not doing it. Bumble Lion.
Bumble I just found it.
Kelly just beat the internet. Yeah, there he is. Yeah, you beat him. But I said to Kelly, I always thought like she made that show up, But see, I know I get yelled at for all the time. But she thinks I made up the Gummy Bears. So.
But there's also cartoons I used to watch as a kid that I think me and my friend Paul, who watched TV every day, all day, only knew about. Do you remember Bionic 6?
No.
Do you remember Cops, C-O-P-S? They were all cops that they had like cybernetic implants and the
No.
Oh, see, we used to watch those shows all the time, and like no one else ever has heard of them.
Cops, I definitely never heard of.
Yeah.
The other one maybe, but
Speaking of theme songs, I saw the greatest thing. I'll have to send you the video. I have to go through my YouTube history. It's a European band. They did a fantastic cover of the Thundercats theme song.
Christ, you're
Yeah.
addicted to that.
What do you mean I'm addicted to that song?
You're addicted to that show.
Oh, I love the Thundercats. Always have.
I liked the remake from a couple of years ago. Well, it's more than a couple now, but I always thought that was really good. I can't believe that went off the air.
I'll have to find that now and send that to
I
you.
tell you, I liked that show so much. The Thundercats remake, I was buying them on iTunes every week.
Really?
Yeah, that's how much I liked that. Because it looked good and it was going somewhere, and then all of a sudden, I guess they couldn't pay Will Friedle enough money to stay. So, no, back up. You are not getting in my shit. Get going.
Holy shit! I just opened up the rabbit hole.
What?
No, there's a ton of different covers now. Okay, I gotta watch all that later.
Send me one. I'll find the rest.
Yeah. That's all I got, buddy.
Yeah, I'm done. My ass really hurts from this chair, so I gotta get up.
I got a busy day tomorrow, so I gotta probably go to bed early, like 2 a.m. because I don't have to go to work tomorrow.
Oh, there you go.
So
You can watch. You can watch some Justice League.
no,
Unlimited.
most likely watch some YouTube and go to sleep.
Yeah, that's usually what I do too. So
What-
let's say, remember, rate.
Oh, come on!
Huh?
Next one begins with an S.
Subscribe.
There you go.
Yeah, best S. Sponsor.
Sponsor.
Sponsor the show. If you love us, if you hate us, say something about it. We're good about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll either comment back or just ignore you. Either way, no, we love you.
Yeah. That's right. Uh,
We'll treat you like we treat our wives. We'll either ignore you or talk to you. Either way,
I
we
wish
love
we
you.
could overlay Optimus Prime saying, Autobots roll out at the end.
Yeah.
Fucking great.
We'll have to use this overlay again.
Yeah. We'll have to say that for another time.
Okay, gang. 2 weeks. Either way, we'll be back on Friday, so we're going to the middle of the week. So our vacation will interrupt our recording schedule, except if life happens, and that happens a lot.
It usually gets us. Yeah, that's usually what screws us all up.
It does. Okay, guys. Jerry, thanks again.
Thank you, sir.
See you next time, guys.